Hey everyone, Rest in Peace 12 here, and today we're going to talk about game development, specifically for Roblox. Now, I'm no master at game development or making Roblox games, but as a 20-year-old who has both a passion for game development and Roblox game making, I feel as though I could put in some words towards the matter. I'll start off by saying most of my inspiration is coming from the channel Extra Credits, an amazing channel dedicated to giving interesting information about game design. I highly recommend you go watch them. But in the meantime, let me take one of their videos, creating your first game, and apply it to Roblox and see how it stacks up. So most people quit on their first game because they dive right into the deep part of game design, then quit because they can't figure out how to complete it. The problem is that they have way too big of a scope for their personal skill. Having an awesome idea for a thrilling and engaging game is great, but if your skills don't stack up to that game quite yet, then don't make it. You'd be making a huge mistake. For one, if you're like most people, you'd quit halfway through out of frustration. And second, if you did stick with it, your game would not live up to the thought you had in your mind because you aren't skilled enough to achieve that, and chances are the game would stink. So before diving right into making a Halo remake in Roblox or a Roblox obby that isn't absolutely terrible, start small. The word to describe a game complexity is scope. A game like Call of Duty has a rather large scope, while Super Mario Bros. Has a smaller scope, and a game like Pong would have a very small scope. What you want to do if you're new to Roblox or Roblox game development is to start out with a small scope, as small as you can get. Maybe even remaking Pong in Roblox, but I believe you could go even smaller than that. Let me give you an example. Here in this world, we've got just a base plate and a few parts, and it looks completely awful, but that's perfect. You don't want your first game to look good, you want it to work, and even something as simple as jumping up a few blocks to get a yellow block works. And after you make this game, ever so slightly expand your scope. And this took me about 5 minutes to make, but you can take as long as you need. It's a learning experience, not your master work. Another tip is to not go in with a specific idea in mind, especially on your earlier projects. The idea here is to learn new things one step at a time, and if you go in with an idea too soon, you'll end up getting frustrated when you can't pull off a certain idea. It's good to start out by looking up some tutorials and to learn a few tricks at first, then to apply them to your projects. The Roblox Wiki is a great place to learn cool new tricks. Try and find a couple and combine them into a little project and see what happens. Once you've made a few projects, which should take longer than just 3 hours, then start applying simple ideas to your projects. Remaking Tetris in Roblox or making a game based on zero gravity, then even later start applying more grand ideas like a Halo remake or an actually good Roblox obby. If you ever get stuck, then ask. You can go onto the Roblox forums and ask, the Roblox dev forums and ask, or even ask in my comments and I'll try and respond if I can. A couple other things to wrap up. Build your projects and games around your personal skills. If you're a good artist, then make games based around your sprites and your art. If you're good at building, make an adventure game going through all of your builds. If you're a master scripter but can't draw for your life, then make a game with terrible graphics. We all know of a highly successful game that isn't really praised for its wonderful graphics. And if you ever absolutely need something in your game but you just can't get yourself to make it, then go into the free models. Yes, go in and take what you need, that's what it's there for. And if you can't find it in there, go to Google. If it's a piece of art you need, I'm sure you could find it in Google Images, and if not, then maybe ask someone on the forums to create it for you. You could even try and pay them. Granted, I'm not experienced at this, so I don't know how reputable the Roblox forums are with this, so proceed with caution. No artist or author or director or game developer became who they are overnight. It took practice, dedication, and a passion and love for what they were doing. Take these small projects you work on and love them. I mean, they're practically your children, no matter how ugly they look. So get in there and make the worst looking, most boring, and most frustrating game you could ever make, and be proud of it. I'll see you guys next time.